Welcome to Time of Death. This video is for informational purposes and in no way meant to glorify or condone violence. In today's video, we'll be discussing the murder of Cesar Guerrero. Guerrero was shot and killed on Saturday, December 25, 2010, in the 12,000 block of Inez Avenue in Echo Park, according to LA County Coroner records. Carlos Rojas and Joseph Mancia were subsequently arrested and charged with the murder. The following is the evidence at trial. Echo Park is a criminal street gang based in the Echo Park area of Los Angeles. As of 2010, Echo Park was estimated to have 280 to 300 total members and 40 to 75 active members. Echo Park's gang symbols include the letters EXP, EP, and EPLS, as well as the rhinoceros logo associated with the Mark Echo clothing brand. The gang also uses symbols in conjunction with the numeral 13, a designation the Mexican Mafia bestowed upon certain Hispanic street gangs. Echo Park had a rivalry with a smaller Hispanic criminal street gang known as Los Crazy Mexicans, or LCM, which was comprised of 10 to 15 members. In 2010, Charles Arellano served as Echo Park's shot caller, meaning that he directed the gang and decided which members would participate in gang missions. Local law enforcement had identified Charles' sister, Veronica Arellano, and his stepson, Ruben Valenzuela, as Echo Park gang members. Gang officers had also identified defendants Carlos Rojas, Joseph Mancia, and victim Cesar Guerrero as Echo Park gang members. Rojas and Mancia both had several tattoos of Echo Park gang symbols and had identified themselves as gang members to multiple officers. Mancia also had a 3-dot tattoo on his face, a symbol referencing gang life. On August 14, 2010, LAPD officer Robert Calzadias responded to a report of a shooting in the Echo Park neighborhood. The victim of the shooting, Charles Arellano, had been shot in the foot. On December 16, 2010, Charles Arellano's stepson, Ramon Valenzuela, was shot in the head while walking with another Echo Park member near the gang's territory. A witness lived in the building on Inez Avenue, which was located behind the pink apartment building at 1240 Inez Avenue. The building was accessible through a pathway from Inez Avenue that ran along the right side of the building at 1240 Inez. On December 25, 2010, the witness was at home with her brother and several other family members. 3 of the brother's friends were also present: A.W., Steve Castanon, and Carlos Montalban. Castanon and Montalban were both members of LCM. At approximately 11:40 a.m., A.W., Castanon, and Montalban were standing in front of the building near the pathway that led to Inez Avenue. Castanon suddenly heard gunshots and was struck by a bullet in his leg. Montalban suffered a gunshot wound to his stomach, and A.W. suffered multiple gunshot wounds to his back and stomach. Several residents of Inez Avenue witnessed the shooting. After hearing gunshots, a resident looked out her window and saw 3 men exiting 1240 Inez Avenue. One of the men looked like the man with the 3-dot tattoo she had seen in front of the building 2 days earlier. A witness went to her window after hearing gunshots and saw 2 Hispanic males shooting toward the apartment building behind 1240 Inez. One of the men fell to the ground, appearing to have been shot. The victim then saw a white car come down Inez. The driver and the non-injured gunman helped the injured assailant into the car. While they were assisting the injured assailant, the witness saw a black item fall to the ground, which she later identified as a black glove or something like that. Another witness was awoken by gunshots and looked out his window. He saw 3 male Hispanics near a white Honda firing weapons toward the apartment at 1240 Inez Avenue. The witness went to retrieve his phone, and when he returned to the window, one of the men was lying on the ground. He informed the 911 operator that 2 men had helped the man lying on the ground into the car, and that the driver of the car was firing a weapon while driving in reverse. LAPD Detective Sergio Ortiz was assigned to serve as the lead detective in the matter. On January 11, 2017, Detective Ortiz interviewed Ayon. Ayon told Ortiz that on the day of the shooting, she heard someone outside her house calling her name. She then saw defendant Mancia, who she knew as Droopy from Echo Park, at her front gate. Ayon stated that defendant Mancia told her victim Guerrero had been shot and was lying in a white car in an alley next to her house. Detective Ortiz conducted 6-pack photographic lineups with several of the witnesses who had seen the shooting. In March of 2011, a witness reviewed a 6-pack of photographs and was initially unable to make an identification. After further inspection, she selected defendant Mancia as the person who most closely resembled one of the shooters she had seen in the street, but was only 40 to 50% certain of her identification. The witness reviewed a second six-pack of photographs and selected defendant Rojas as the person who looked something like the driver. After identifying defendants Mencia and Rojas as potential suspects, Detective Ortiz requested that the two men participate in a live lineup. Ortiz placed a hidden camera in the area where Mencia and Rojas were placed prior to the lineup and videotaped their conversation. In the surreptitiously recorded video, Mencia told Rojas, "We should have just run when we had the chance, fool. If we do fucking dodge this one, fool, when we get out, we're just gonna have to fucking just chill." After Rojas warned Mencia the police were trying to set them up and not to trip, Mencia responded, "I'm good. I just want to know who it was. Fucking rat." Forensic investigators recovered 37 cartridges from the scene of the shooting. Ballistics experts concluded the shots had been fired from at least 4 different weapons. Investigators also recovered several pieces of physical evidence from the crime scenes, which included a hat and a black glove that were found in the street outside 1240 Inez Avenue, and a shirt found in a white Honda where the victim's body was recovered. The victim's DNA was detected on all 3 items. Laboratory analysis revealed that the glove and the shirt contained additional DNA from multiple secondary contributors. Defendant Mencia was excluded as a possible contributor to the glove, but defendant Rojas was found to be a possible contributor. The forensic analysis showed that the probability of a random person in the population matching the DNA characteristics in the glove that were found to match Rojas's DNA was 1 in 549. Defendant Mencia was found to be a possible contributor to the DNA characteristics found on the shirt at a random probability rate of 1 in 310. At closing argument, the district attorney argued that defendants Mencia and Rojas were both guilty of the victim's murder under the provocative act theory. According to the district attorney, the evidence showed defendant Mencia and the victim had attacked several LCM members and that the victim had been shot in the ensuing shootout. The district attorney further asserted that defendant Rojas had driven the getaway vehicle and was liable for all of Mencia's criminal acts as an aider and abetter. Following the trial, the jury found Joseph Mencia guilty of first-degree murder and found Carlos Rojas guilty of second-degree murder. The jury found both defendants guilty of all 4 remaining counts of attempted murder and found the attempted murders had been premeditated. The court sentenced Joseph Mencia to a term of 90 years to life in prison and sentenced Carlos Rojas to a term of 80 years to life in prison. Cesar Frank Guerrero was 18 years old at the time of death.